And you have the Sk8 O'Clock microphone. Welcome,
Yes.
Aaron McGowen from Sk8 O'Clock and Travis Littig from Sk8 to Create podcast. And I'm your host, James Manning from Royal Deca. Welcome, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for hosting the blab.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna ask you about that microphone because I've seen it before. How did
this
you
whole
hook
thing.
that up, dude? That's so sick. Yeah.
So this is a bass drum. This is just like a bass drum kicker microphone stand. Works great on the tabletop. And then this is just an ATR 2100. And then this little plastic thing was like $1.50 on Amazon.
Right.
And then I cut up a Sk8 O'Clock sticker. And then these little fuzzy things, I got a bag of like 12 for like another $1.50. So
It's all color coordinated too, man.
yeah,
It's awesome.
I got the comic book stuff back there.
Yeah, and then Travis, you're at which tattoo shop? Blown Clouds.
Man, we got some vapage.
I'm in Crowley, Texas, at the Riot Tattoo Shop, and Sniper Vapes is me and my partner's company.
Right, and you work with me at Royal Deca as well.
Yeah.
We always are happy to have you. So, Aaron, this works pretty well with Twitter, so you can. I see that you already.
I just
sent
did a
something
tweet,
out.
so let's see if we get any people.
Cool. And, this is how we were trying to use our STC mastermind that we were, concepting before. And it's been working out really well for us. I think Skate Fillet is using Blab now.
Did they do that on their last episode? I think I did. I listened to them on iTunes, but they mentioned they were on Blab now.
Yeah. I think they're doing it exclusively on Blab now.
That's good because they had the issues. I remember the issues, and shout out Andrew if you ever watch this in post, whatever.
Yeah, shout out to Skate Fillet for real.
Yeah, love your guys' show, but their issues with Google Chrome where they'd have like two of somebody that became like a regular part of the show. It was kind of funny.
Yeah,
but,
Two Grants thing.
Yeah.
So
the only downside of the Blab on the phone without headphones is my phone is not loud at all.
Oh yeah.
Oh, why don't you have headphones, dude? You're an audio engineer.
I don't have any. My $50 one's broke.
Damn, that's a hard hit right there.
Is it picking up the microphone just fine?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'll drink to that.
I just got home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's been
off of work.
Yeah. Well, I had a dinner meeting with somebody, but yeah.
Big moves, man. And so you wanted to talk. I wanted to start this conversation off by at least getting into the fact that, we started our skateboarding podcast roughly around the same time. You started it before us, but
just
since
barely.
then. Yeah, but you're a big influence in us starting ours. You mentioned that since you've been doing this for a while, over a year now, can you talk a little bit about that journey, since you started the show?
Yeah, and ever since I started, even till right now, it's been a long journey of what kind of show to do. And so it started out like, well, nobody knows me, and I wanted to have something to talk like. I wanted to have somebody that knew a lot more about the skateboard industry than I did. I was really interested into it, and I was actually just getting back into skating from a long stint in college, and so I was learning all this stuff by actually listening to podcasts, how to podcast and stuff. And I'm like, well, I learned how to do this now. And then that's when I brought it to the skate shop, and that's where Jose is on the first, I'd say the first half of our episodes. And then, and then that eventually got too much it was too much of a time commitment for him with running the shop and things. And now it's just kind of me doing interviews, and having, some friends on every once in a while. But yeah, I think I've just been learning so much more about, online business and trying to figure out how trying to how best to serve like a skateboarding audience. And so that's kind of been the struggle, is like, what do people want to hear?
Yeah. I will say that I love your show too. And I listen to all of them. The most recent one was the Skate God episode. It was like that dude that was just like so hyped on this movie he was making. And, it had a lot of skateboarders in it. So one thing that you just said that kind of struck me is you focused on a specific area with your podcast. I feel like that's what all of us are doing. All of us have a podcast. And I'm speaking of, you at Sk8 O'Clock, Skate Fillet, Shetler Show, Mostly Skateboarding, Mike Vallely Show. All of these different shows, it's like we're all focusing on a different part, on a different facet. You seem to have a focus on translating your podcast and building that into your website, and a lot of people just don't focus on that at all. And you have a really good, like, clean line between your podcast and then going to your website. And then whenever people get to your website, you have a really good experience for them. Is that something you planned?
Yeah, it was definitely something. And I think I'm just trying to figure it all out. Trying to figure out just a way to connect, trying to connect me and the show to skateboarders, like, so that we have a direct line of communication. And that's where I'd say most all of my guests come from now, is they just reach out directly and it's like, hey, I do this, or I know this guy. You should totally have him on your show. And so through building that email list, that's what I found has been that. And then the Twitter and the Instagram as well. And that's something especially I've learned, is you got to go where the people are. And skateboarders are on Instagram for sure.
Yeah. I think you're over 10K, right? Like,
yeah. And yeah, just meeting people where they are. And then just what I've been doing a lot lately now is every once in a while I'll throw out a question and try to get kind of a conversation started. And ever since Twitter polls came out, just a little bit, it probably wasn't that, probably a lot longer ago than I realized.
I still haven't even used it, actually.
Well, I love it, especially when so there's kind of this thing that happens once you build an audience once you, like, your listeners or whatever get to a certain size, now you can start asking them questions, and you can get a much better idea of like what people like, what people think is whack.
What would that size be in your opinion?
The numbers, and this is definitely something I found out because I was all about like follower numbers, and I think a lot of people still are.
Right.
It's not about follower numbers at all. It's 100%. The more important metric is engagement. How much are you talking back to these people? And so,
who is talking to you?
Right.
That's the focus, right?
Right. Exactly. So once you have an engaged amount of people, so like the last Twitter poll I did, I'm trying to find it. Now I've actually been collecting these because after I run one, then I kind of save that screenshot, and now I have content. And this very last one, I just posted that Twitter poll on Instagram to continue the conversation. And now my next podcast will be 100% talking about that topic. So I can say, here's what you guys said. This is what you guys said on Twitter. This is what you guys said on Instagram about this one topic. I'm trying to find it here on my phone.
No worries, man. Travis, anything to add to this?
Are you worried about your response time very much? Are you trying to get back in like within 5 minutes of somebody sending you something, or you got a life and you got to work around it?
Yeah. So I think they call it batch processing is definitely a big thing of it. It's like, it's, when you get when you get a chance, you're in the bathroom or something, and then right before bed, I'll go through all the replies and stuff, and just try to do a mass. And there's also little small hacks like texting with your voice, the little microphone, and just saying out a text. That's 10 times easier and quicker than writing it out. And especially me being like a writer type, I'm constantly editing and like, trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. So just say
one
it.
text message takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Exactly. So just say it and send it and forget about it. But yeah, people love being a part of a conversation. And so that's kind of what I'd like to think that I have a million questions that I'd like to ask skateboarding as a whole and say, what do you guys think about this? And so that's kind of the direction I think the show will become in between the interviews that I'm doing.
Gotcha. And so, obviously whenever you start a show, you started over a year ago, just like we did with Sk8 to Create, it has an evolution, right? I mean,
yeah.
When we first started, we thought it was going to be something that it's turning into be, and we still haven't even done a lot of new recordings yet. We're still going through the older recordings that we have, which is something we're struggling with, just being so busy. But I guess it's because, like I was mentioning before, we had a different focus. Our focus over the past year has been networking and really trying to get involved with the community that's here in Dallas. And I feel like we've been doing a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, trying to get the Dallas scene.
Yeah, we've been doing a good job of that, but it's like when we're focusing on that, it's hard to focus on making the show better and communicating with everyone online and all those other things that you've been doing really well.
It's really tough, especially being a one-man show. I got to say, like, and anybody, I would not recommend you try to just go. I mean, it's really tough. You got to you really got to love it, because it's so much work. There's a million things to do. And lucky for me, I have a degree in computer information science. So some of the website stuff, I'm not really that good at design or anything, but if I see something on my website that I want to change, then I know how to do that, and I kind of pick up things with technology. I mean, yeah, like the
website looks great. I mean, the website's awesome, and you have a lot of stuff on your website that we're trying to put on ours. You have a lot of cool stuff on there.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I want to commend you guys on that, because I think the new site design looks awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was only a couple of things I wanted to see, which one was like a place for comments on the posts. Mm-hmm. You get a comment section for people to, give their 2 cents on the show, or, and
well, I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and say the other thing. Anything else?
I need to pull it up. Maybe I can remember it.
I want to say real quick, anyone listening, we're all three of us are using WordPress for our websites.
You guys are on WordPress now?
What are you guys using?
Yeah. For RoyalDeca.net, we're on WordPress. And then for RoyalDeca.com, we're on Squarespace still.
.net. I'm going to go to it. Yeah, definitely go check out RoyalDeca.net. It's sweet.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, we've been working hard on that, and Travis has been doing a lot of that work on WordPress, as you know. But the comments thing, I mean, I do want to talk about that, because it's my feeling that website pages don't get a lot of comments unless you're at that threshold of like you have 10,000 followers, or a really high number of people that are checking out your website blog. And so we found like it's easier to post on the web page, but then try to drive that call to action on the social media platforms where people are much more likely to comment. Yeah. And, with that, we're trying to make sure we have every post going on Instagram, or every post on YouTube, or every post on Twitter and Facebook and et cetera. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I guess I was just I was actually listening to one of the Shetler shows, and for me personally, this is something that just happened with another podcast of a guy that I just had on the show, and I'm getting ready to put his show out either tonight or next week. He just started a show, and he's on SoundCloud. And one thing I've really found out I like about SoundCloud is as soon as you leave a comment, it almost allows you to join the conversation, I guess. And that's something that I think Sk8 is really does like super well by doing live shows. You can join in the conversation, because when dudes are talking about skateboarding and you also love skateboarding, you want to put in your 2 cents. You want to say, no, man, I hate that. I don't like that skater. Or like, hey man, like I love that guy, or I saw that video, or I haven't seen that video. Don't spoil it.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say. Like I think I'm constantly listening to podcasts, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could like get in there and I could like grab them and shake them and be like, no, or yes, thank you.
Yeah. And I almost feel like whenever I'm listening to them, I'm like talking back to them out loud anyway. It'd be nice to be able to like channel that into the show. And yeah, that is what they do really well. But I feel like, their show and your show would be good for that sort of thing. I don't know if ours would, and so that's another thing that we could talk about is like, there's skateboarding podcasts, right? But now we're kind of creating subgenres of skateboarding podcasts. There's the interview journey type of podcast. There's the stuff that you and Sk8 do, which is more like current events. You also do a different type of show where it's reviews, and even Shetler does a different type of show.
Right.
It's just a really in-depth conversation about anything and everything. Mm-hmm. And I feel like what we're trying to do is going to be a little bit more honed in on trying to inspire people. But now I don't know if you've listened to anything recently, but I've been trying to speak to the audience before that interview happens. Mm-hmm. And I think it might be cool to try to have like a dynamic of Travis and I talking about Royal Deca stuff or Sk8 to Create stuff before we do the interview, and even cut the interview down a little bit more to where it's more about trying to inspire people. What do you think?
Are you talking about doing conversation with people on social media first, or? I'm
talking about like, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, Travis and I, that has to do with our company that we're running together, that has to do with our own creative endeavors. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking like, how do I bring that out more? We could either do a separate show or something like this that we're doing now, or we can kind of incorporate it into Sk8 to Create as like a section, of the show, and then leave the bigger section for what you came for, which is the actual interview.
Well, I was thinking about, my boss has a podcast channel that he is going to incorporate multiple shows on the same channel. And I was thinking about us launching a Royal Deca network podcast, and it feature, curated from content from 4 or 5 shows that we want, and their episodes are released, and the way the difference is in the titles, obviously. So, each, whatever. So there could be 15-minute news shows on it. Aaron, you could have a 15-minute product review, and it's an episode that comes out, and then James, you and I can have our design collab show or something, and the skate park could have a 30-minute show or an hour show, and it all releases in the same feed.
Okay, so it's in iTunes, for example.
So one of us chooses to host it. So like Royal Deca would host it, and then we have episodes that come out, and you can title it so that you could have other people have a show, but they don't have to have their own feed and keep up with a website and do all that stuff. They could just submit an episode, and we polish it up and post it. Yeah,
it's kind of like how the barracks, you go to one site to watch all the different, the daily stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's more going along the lines of how we're trying to create more skateboarding podcasts. But yeah.
For those that don't want to get, don't have the knowledge and know how to get started, we could feature them and give a place for them to be heard, and see if they like it. If the show continues, cool. And then they could branch off on their own and get bigger if they want.
Yeah, I think you definitely can do that. The thing I'm trying to think of what it really boils down to is people develop what they like about a show or a person or a topic, and on a given day, it's not even really a matter of where whether they're on their own show or it's a part of another show that releases on Tuesday. You learn where to find that is, and then you just go straight to that. And so I think whatever makes it the easiest to find. I mean, so like if you really like Buttery Ass Mondays on the Barracks, you knew to go to thebarracks.com on Mondays to check out for a new show. If you had heard about it and you began to like the show and it was on another website or it was on YouTube or wherever, you would find it there. So I think more importantly is just making the show itself as tight, whatever it is, and then whatever is the easiest. So yeah, I think that does solve a big problem, because for people that have a lot to talk about skateboarding or are really funny, or just have a lot of potential but maybe don't have the technical knowledge, then I think that could be a great idea.
Or the commitment to even starting their own show. Maybe they want to get their foot in the water a little bit. So yeah, I think that's a great idea, Travis. It's slightly different than what I was talking about, but I mean, I'm talking more about like how to improve our individual show, and you're going more along the lines of when we were talking about building our network and how to create more content easily. So both,
Well, and I see it could do many things. It's for one, like you're saying, Aaron, right there, it could be a breeding ground for those to get involved. For a Fred Van Schie to record his Monday show and it be released somewhere, without him releasing it.
Hell
that
yeah.
He could share easily. But
Andrew
it's
Mucci.
also that aspect of what we wanted RoyalDeca.net to be, is that one feed, that one spot to come to get content, yet not have to open up multiple shows. You don't even have to, you can just scroll up and down, and then you could get feedback, and people are going to reach out. They're like, dude, I really liked James's show on Tuesday. Like, I want to hear more of James, and you could get feedback that way. And that's how the breeding ground could launch and take off into your own show. But I see, like James is saying, it's another model that we've been developing in our heads and looking forward to launching.
Yeah.
But we plan that and still trying to plan the flagship show.
Right. I think that, so what I'm picturing is, you guys know medium.com?
No.
The blogs. Well, so what it is, it's
it's where you go to post blogs.
Right. It's a really like simple interface, but anybody can put on their, can just write an article and it shows up there for everybody that's on that platform to see. Yeah,
that's exactly what we're talking about.
Because the only problem with podcast, like the main problem of why these shows aren't getting onto iTunes, for us to hear them, is because there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into it. I mean, it's a lot easier to make an Instagram post, to manage an Instagram feed than it is to do a podcast. There's a lot of stuff involved. And
that's what we wouldn't want to do, is handle your Instagram. So you give all the time to market yourself.
Right.
And I will say this too, Aaron, because I look at you and Anthony Shetler and Andrew from Sk8 Filet and all of these guys as different types of customers that we potentially want to be working with, or, you know what I mean? Not customers, but clients or partners or whatever. You seem like you're the type of person that you want to develop your own products for sale, right?
Yeah.
You want to develop your own passive income. You want to have your website as a hub for everything that you're doing and the customers that you're trying to build, the customer base through your online media. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, that's definitely. I would definitely say that's what it sounds kind of. I don't really like using the term personal brand, but that's definitely what it's kind of come a lot more to. So that people know, like, hey, you're talking to a dude. Like, I'm just a dude, and
Right.
So like, now my face is on my Twitter and on my Instagram. Like, there's a lot more me, and I definitely try to open it up. Like, this is my email address, and ask me a question, and I'll get right back to you.
Through Sk8 O'Clock?
Yeah. And Sk8 O'Clock being the name of the show, but definitely. And with that, with like getting people to open up, I can do one thing I did an Instagram post. What are you struggling with? You know, we kind of hear that question all the time in internet business, but I decided, well, why not just ask skateboarders? And I got a ton of answers. People from people that are struggling to learn tricks to people that want to get sponsored. So I have experience in learning new tricks, and so I could give some tips there. One thing I really want to research is maybe even start. So what I'm saying is, like, I can use that feedback, and now I can reach out to people in companies, and I can ask them exactly what my audience has asked me to find out, and that is what are people looking for to get sponsored, or what are some tactics to get found on Instagram, without just sending them, like, you know, sponsor me, a mass DM to 15 companies. Well, that's not a good strategy.
And see, that's something that needs to be talked about. I mean, that's kind of like a unspoken thing right now. Like, you know, just there's a lot of people that are getting sponsored from online media, but no one necessarily knows the best way to do it. And I guess the real answer is, like, just be really fucking badass. But
yeah, that's the easy answer, right?
That's the real answer. But aside from that, it's an ugly word, but personal branding is a fucking thing.
Right.
It's a thing.
Like,
it has to be. I mean, because that's the reason, you know, people are getting found. Right. It's how they're rising to the top. So I don't know. I will say that, Aaron, I think there's a potential there for you if you ever wanted to address that and keep it separate from Sk8 O'Clock in a way where, you know, it's its own thing. Feel free to come to us and we can do it through this, you know?
Yeah.
And we would love to help with that. That's exactly what Travis was talking about, essentially.
Like a spider web, you know, having a little small piece somewhere that you didn't have to work that hard on, but it directs you to your hub. You know, it directs people, man, I like Aaron. I'm going to go to Aaron's stuff and find out what he's about, you know? Not all on, you know, all I've got is Royal Deca and that's all I got to look at or whatever. We also want to breed that connection.
I mean, and I say that because essentially that's what we're trying to do. Whenever we talked about the STC mastermind, that's exactly what we were talking about, is like, what are you struggling with? Let's talk about it and bring on people that know what they're talking about and can give some sound advice, and then let people learn from each other. So I don't know.
Because so for me growing up, I never wanted to be, for whatever weird psychological reason, I always told everybody that I'd never wanted to be a sponsored skateboarder. And so I was like, well, no, I just want to do it for the fun. But at some point now, I have to realize and it was only by asking my audience, people want to know if there's any possibility, if there are some tactics they could follow to get sponsored. And that's just one of the things. There are, as you know, there are people trying to start brands and trying to start this technical stuff and trying to learn how to navigate social media or create a website.
And that's what I'm more interested in, to be honest.
Right.
But I feel like if it was you talking to your audience and saying, hey, you want to be sponsored? we're going to talk to pro skater Anthony Shetler and get his ideas as far as like how that would work. You know, he owns a company, blah, blah, blah. Then it's us three talking with Anthony about that subject. We send you this because Blab is really good about just emailing an embed code. Mm-hmm. We'll send you the embed code. You can put it wherever you want to put it on your website. They can, you know, everyone can do the same. And we all have a way to answer that question for people that are interested.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it.
And this is stored on your Blab, so you don't even have to send anything. They can grab the embed when this is over, or
okay, right.
You know what I mean? This is recorded and it stays here. You could do a Sk8 O'Clock, you know, you sign in with your Sk8 O'Clock Twitter and do your own shows, and they'll be stored there that people can find.
He is signed in through Sk8 O'Clock.
Yeah, I signed in with the Twitter, but
you just put your name, title, or whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, I just clicked this Twitter button. Oh, that's what it is on Twitter. My handle is Sk8 O'Clock, but my name is Aaron McGowen on Twitter. So.
Yeah, that's cool. See, you have the flexibility to change it, and you can change it again in the Blab.
Yeah, right. I love this. I'm just learning about. I've been hearing about Blab from some of the podcast community and stuff, but I like this. And
Travis is an expert, dude. He knows this platform inside and out.
You can see now that it even shows you what on the top right locale of people, the location services. Do you see the map?
Oh yeah, I see that now.
On top right.
Yeah, that's tight. I as I was listening to your guys' last Blab with Andrew from Skate Fillet, I caught it after the fact, but I would have absolutely loved to jump on that show because I think Andrew he's done a great YouTube. He's done a great job at YouTube, and I know that's kind of been his focus. And he's talking about skateboarding stuff on YouTube, where people are going to watch skate videos. But I had this epiphany, and it was this idea that by doing Google Hangouts or by doing a live show, he now has a YouTube video. He can then strip the audio out, strip the MP3 out, and put that on iTunes. He's done a live show, so you have audience engagement. People can ask questions, and now they are forever on that show, you know.
And by the way, Blab makes that really easy. Whenever you record one of these, you get an email that says download the video, download the audio, and here's the embed code. So it strips it all for you.
I love that. And so now you can put that on your website. What I'm saying is you have I don't know, 4 or 5 every little thing you do. You do a live show, you have a YouTube video, a podcast, and now you have content for your website. And then you can if you want, you can write a blog post about that topic, all in the exact same amount of time it took to do that one interview. And right. And something like Blab really allows you to leverage other people that want to join and be part of your show, because that's really what that's what we're all about. We're about connecting with the skateboard community. And yeah.
Well, I have to say, dude, I mentioned it to you earlier. I don't know if you got the message. I don't know if it was my phone messing up or something, but I really wanted to do this. And I feel like since Travis directed us to Blab, everyone's been loving it. And it's for that reason. You could do Sk8 O'Clock on Blab easily. And, that way that might even open up another section for you where you can have questions being facilitated through you to your guest, or to however you want to do it. But yeah, I think, sure. Everyone's been loving it.
Like this is embedded on our website right now. I made a page for it and it's live right now. You can catch it live, if you're listening to this and hear it after the fact. This is the ability we have nowadays. And not only
which no one is, though.
You could post straight to YouTube from Blab, but you could also still take that video and produce a show and then put it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Put your intro in it, put your outro video in it.
I will say that's something that Drew did really well. I mean, I found him. I'm going to interview him for Sk8 to Create soon, but I found his episode of like gear to take for shooting skateboarding videos. It just popped up one day, and I saw him, and then I started subscribing to his channel. He built up a really good subscriber base, previously.
Yeah.
On YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube. And he was doing this web series called Let's Go Skate.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. I love them.
Yeah, they're awesome. And so that's how he built up his audience. So once he started a podcast, they already had a lot of momentum and a big following already. Whereas we kind of started from zero. So that being said, Blab worked out really well for them because they were able to have a lot of engagement up front because people were ready for anything that they put out,
Right. Yeah. They do a great show, and he's also got, I know Grant and Medina, they bring a lot to that show. So I know they all three work really hard. Maybe, that's kind of something where you have two guys, Grant and Medina, they're keeping up with the skateboard world. They're keeping up with the Instagram. They're doing the reporting, and then Andrew's doing the show. And so I think that's a really great model that they've been able to find. It's pretty magical.
Yeah, it's a great dynamic. And what's funny is I was like, whenever Travis and I were talking a year ago, I was talking about how that show needed to be created, a show that dealt with just current events. And basically, I'm in the same position as Andrew because I work a lot, and I'm not on Instagram constantly. I'm not watching a lot of videos. I'm not reading a lot of magazines.
Oh yeah, it's impossible. But I actually started doing the news, and then all on my own. And I was trying to find all these systems, like have sites like feeding into my email and trying to. It's really tough work.
But it makes it a really interesting podcast when you don't know anything, and then you have people telling you about it, because then the listener gets to hear about it.
Right. It's useful. That's the idea of the news. It's a great show for sure. It's just a lot of work, and if you don't have, they have such a tight system for it, and if you don't have that in place, it gets really hard to do.
Absolutely. So, to wrap up what we're trying to talk about, we're basically trying to improve on what we're doing. I know that a struggle for us is a couple of things: putting out a regular, solid show every week. Shetler has been doing that. He's been doing it religiously. Sk8 has been doing it religiously. And it's hard to do that. It's hard for us to do that. And I'm gonna personally just work harder at that. But that's something we're struggling with. And then the other thing is, I don't know, what would you say, Travis? What's another struggle we have right now?
I don't know. Wasn't thinking too much about the struggles.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's enough. Just us putting out some stuff that's more regular.
Consistency is more of an overarching thing there.
I also struggle.
Blogging.
Oh, go ahead.
Covering events. We have stuff come out, but not anything that is a series content besides the show.
It's not scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's huge. I got big props to Shetler and Sk8 for being there every for being there at least weekly. I mean, it is a lot. It's a lot of work. I think for me, I can speak for me. It's that I'm trying to do too much. I'm trying to be a perfectionist about the too many things and not focus on what is more important. I think they do really well. It's being there every week. It's talking about the stuff. It's showing up.
Yeah, because we've established that Blab takes the hard part out. If you decide to use Blab as a platform, it has a learning curve to it, and closing the open seat and not, if you're just trying to do a straight interview show and not have any audience interaction, you got to train your mind to just ignore the comments and ignore people, but you're using Blab for what it is. But, you can build all three at once, like we said. You can build a live audience, a podcast, and a YouTube channel all at the same time with one recording. It's just us like, oh, I want it to be perfect. I got to do this photo perfect and have an intro and have an outro.
And we tried to do.
We don't learn to just put it up.
Yeah, and we recorded an episode with Robert Brink from Ride Channel. He's did an episode with us, but I think his internet connection was messing up, and we were having a problem with it. So,
on Blab,
yeah,
okay.
I think it was just bad internet.
Yeah, some tips for Blab users: definitely have your Ethernet plugged in, have your laptop plugged in, whatever you're using. Get all your microphone kinks worked out.
No, but Aaron doesn't have his plugged in, right?
Yeah, I'm wireless.
I'm wireless too. So I think you just have to have a fast enough connection or fast enough Wi-Fi.
Well, technology improves every day. So we record this. It's no longer, not even evergreen anymore, because what you say is like old. It's over in like a month.
Right.
Next month we'll be on chitchat.com.
Havachat.com.
Doing live emojicon.
Chat with 3otherdudes.com. No,
Careful when you search that though.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, props to Blab. I was not expecting the interface to be this clean. I was like, Blab, what is that? And then
it's going through so many changes
I'm
in 3
digging
months.
Yeah, dude. And with that being said, I feel like we're gonna get a little bit more regular with what we're doing. We have people that are requesting to be on the show. We have people that have agreed to be on the show already. But
New Year's resolution, right?
Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, we've been working with this nonprofit called 4Down Project, and we're developing a lot of content. Oh, cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah. I want to master that vert ramp. I want to figure out how to skate that thing. That thing was.
Yeah, you came out for one of the events that they had there, and yeah, it was so fun. Actually, that thing's torn down now, dude, and they're gonna move location.
I was supposed to go back down there and skate that thing.
Yeah, well, you probably have to skate the new one.
At Throwdown, they had set it up downtown.
Yeah, they set it up downtown.
Man,
so
I still have nightmares about that. I want to skate that thing.
But they're gonna build a new location, and so we're gonna try to do like a mini documentary about them building that skate park there, because it's kind of it's a big deal for Dallas. So that's gonna put a strain on coming out with a regular show. And go ahead. All right, see you later, Travis. All right. Wait, what are you saying?
Leaving?
That wasn't a great host segue there. You're supposed to keep talking. I'm saying that let's wrap it up.
Oh, gotcha.
I gotta go. They're ready to close up the shop. Like I was trying to. I guess I gotta do the stretch it out. Like
do the opposite. Well, anyway, thank you so much for talking to us, Aaron. Can we do this again? Can we make it like a regular weekly thing?
Oh, say it again.
Can we make it like a regular thing?
Yeah, I'm down for sure. This stuff that I live and eat, sleep, and whatever, bleed this. This online, like trying to make sense of it all and trying to figure out how to use it to make skateboarding better.
Hell yeah. And if anyone is watching or listening, go to Sk8O'Clock.com. That's Sk8 OCLOCK. And check out the website. He has an amazing podcast. And then there's a lot of just really cool stuff that's actually going to help you if you want to start a podcast, or if you want to win some free prizes, that have to do with skateboarding.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Hold on.
Oh, he's got something he's going to bring to the table here. And it looks like Travis is mixing some juice while we're talking.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Grip gum. They just sent me this whole box. And I don't.
Hell yeah, I use that stuff all the time.
So I'm giving out. I'm giving one of these to as many listeners that the first like however many 25 listeners, whatever. Email me.
I have mine like grinded down halfway.
I've never used one, so I'm going to do a review show on this stuff. So.
Okay, yeah, I would say that whenever you use it, go across the board, if that makes sense.
Like
the width of your board.
Okay.
And start from nose to tail, and you'll be able to see a cool difference.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty excited, but I was not expecting them. I asked for a couple samples on their Instagram. They sent me this huge box, so I'm gonna be giving it all away.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I love that brand. And you know what? They've actually said some stuff to us that's really cool online as well, like on Instagram, I think.
Yeah.
We might listen to the show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks again. Yeah, check out Sk8 O'Clock, and then check out the new royaldeca.net, because I think within a very short amount of time you're going to find a show. You're going to find a show that you're going to love. So,
and hopefully there are going to be some new shows on there, because that's what we've been slacking on as well. But that's what we're having these meetings for, Aaron, to get us inspired to keep going and see how we can help each other. So I really appreciate it. And then Travis over at Sniper Vapes and Royal Deca, thank you for being on, and have a good night, bro.
Later, guys.
All right. Talk to you later, Aaron.
Yeah, see you, James. See you, Travis.
Peace.